Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil mursaleen amma ba'd. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Today we are starting this session. This is a preliminary session to our main course AQ101, which is the basics in belief, and this may also be seen as the basics for the preliminary introduction for all the courses that are being taught from this primer, that is Maraqi Sa'daat. The book that we are using, the matan that we are using is Maraqi Sa'daat fi ilmi tawheed wal ibadat. This is a primer written by Imam Allamah al-Kabir Muhaqqiq al-Hanafi Abu al-Ikhlas Hasan ibn Ammar Ash Shurumbulali al-Hanafi. Imam Ash Shurumbulali is very well known faqih of his time, and inshallah we will go more over his life or his introduction. But before that, we will give an introduction to the subject that we are trying to tackle at the moment. There is a hadith which comes in the Sahihain, which forms a basis of for Islam, and we tend to focus on this hadith quite a bit because it does provide us a very fundamental aspect of what our purpose in life is and how we are to establish our foundation. And the hadith is as mentioned on the screen. عن أبي عبد الرحمن عبد الله بن عمر بن الخطاب رضي الله تعالى عنهما وعن كل الصحابة أجمعين قال: سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول: بني الإسلام على 5: شهادة أن لا إله إلا الله وأن محمد رسول الله وإقام الصلاة وإيتاء الزكاة وحج البيت وصوم رمضان، أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام. رواه الشيخين. The hadith has also been mentioned in countless other compilations, including Imam Nawawi's Riyadh Salihin, as well as his Arba'un Nawawi as well. And this hadith is very important for us for a couple of aspects. We can divide this hadith, or the actual matan of this hadith, when it mentions Bunya al-Islam ala khams. Bunya al-Islam, Bunya means to peg something and to make the foundation of something. Imagine if you were pegging up a tent, and then you have to stick the poles and then put the carpet or put the tent on top of it. That putting up the peg, that putting up the poles within the tent, that's like bunyan, making the foundation, like the pillars. In our homes, we consider the pillars, normal pillars in the big buildings, to be in the same category. So this is why we say that these are the 5 pillars of Islam. But these are the 5 pillars of Islam in the sense that the essence or the completion of the Islamic beauty does not complete without these. And this is very important. Each one of these pillars is equally important, and each one of them gives a fortification structure to the building itself. If anybody is taking the course with regards to the Arba'un Nawawi, inshallah I will be tackling this in much more detail over there when this hadith comes, along with its connection with the hadith of Jibreel alayhi salam as well. What we understand over here is Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has mentioned that Islam is built on 5 pillars, and the first pillar of that is the pillar that has to do with a person's biggest or the most important, significant part of Islam, and that is Shahadatu an la ilaha illallah wa anna Muhammad Rasulullah. The testification that there is no God but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there is no being worthy of worship except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, is the messenger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This forms the Aqeedah aspect of Islam. And this is so important. This aspect is so important that the remaining wa iqam as-salah wa ita az-zakah wa hajj al-bayt wa sawm Ramadan, all these remaining obligations, all these remaining pillars don't even come in as an obligation upon a person, as a wujub, as something that becomes binding upon a person, if this first pillar is not found, if the first aspect is not found. Imagine a person does not even become Muslim, is not even a Muslim. How can he be taken liable for not performing the salah or giving out the zakah and everything? So this first pillar is extremely significant pillar of Islam. And this is why when Imam Shurunbulali, he wrote his primer on this book, he did not want to keep it only for the fiqh. The fiqh aspect, although the majority of the juristic rulings and apply to the fiqh aspect of it, but he wanted to include the completion, the comprehensiveness of the entire Islam. And that hence he brought this entire manual with first portion of understanding towards the Aqeedah of a Muslim. Hence this is what we realize, that what we are trying to achieve with this particular primer, and we are going to go over just the Aqeedah aspect of it, inshallah. Now, as I mentioned before, the primer itself, the book itself, the name is Maraqi Sa'daat fi ilmi tawheed wal ibadat, and this is Ascent to Felicity with regards to knowledge of two aspects, two fields: the ilm of Tawheed, which is the Aqeedah, wal ibadat, and the ibadah section of it, all the issues pertaining to fiqh of your worship and everything, the rules pertaining to them. What I want you to focus or think about for a moment is when Imam Ash Shurumbulali has given this name Maraqi Sa'daat fi ilmi tawheed wal ibadat, and he has essentially mentioned that the ascent to the felicity comes about because of these two fields, and he has used at-tawheed wal ibadat, meaning tawheed, the aqeedah, one pillar on its own is as weighty as the entire of the ibadat on the other side, right? Tawheed and ibadat. So this is why the tawheed, the aspect of aqeedah that we are going to tackle, is absolutely important. Let us go further. We don't want to give like too much of an introduction over here. We have Allamah Shurumulali as one of the most significant faqih in the recent times, in the contemporary areas, in the last 400 years, and we see him as a very high level faqih in the Hanafi madhab as well. He was born, obviously, it mentions 1000. His mentions over here his day or year of death, that is 1069 Hijri. He was born somewhere in around 994 Hijri, right, and corresponding to 1586. Going over a little bit over about introduction about himself. This is a basic information that Allama Zarkali mentions with regards to him. His full name is Hasan ibn Ammar bin Ali, and known as Ash Shurumbulali, and again he's a Misri. He was born in somewhere in the northern Egypt, in a small village. He was not born in a big village. He was born in a small village, and his father had brought him over from the village side over to Cairo. right? And he was 6 years of age at that time. And now he did his memorization early on at that age. He also started learning at that time from different mashayikh, and some of the mashayikh, Sheikh Muhammad al-Hamawi, Sheikh Abdurrahman al-Misri, and quite a few of the mashayikh he studied from. And then he went on into the Azhar University, which we under Jamiatul Azhar we understand it to be, and at that time Jamiatul Azhar was in its prime. It was one of the most prestigious academic institution for the Islamic academia. Imam Shurunbulali excelled exceptionally in his intellect, in his understanding, in his faqaha, in his ability to decipher and everything. And he was one of the, you can say, a prodigy at that time. And this was the reason why he actually later on became a professor at the Jamiatul Azhar and during its prime. Not only that, he became one of the main professors of the Jamiat al-Azhar as well. Now he even also, as is the case in most of the times, he also taught quite a few of the students who later on became very big mashayikh as well. One of the names that we may remember is An-Nablusi, and the way he was connected to that is he actually taught the father of the well-known Nablusi, Sheikh Abdul Ghani Nablusi, Rahmullah, Allamah Ismail Nablusi, Rahmullah. Right, so he was among those. Not only that, within the Hanafi fiqh, he has written quite a few mutun which have become iconic. The one that we know very famously is the Nurul Ida. Nurul Ida is mentioned over here, and then he made an explanation of Nurul Ida, Sharah for Nurul Ida as well, which over here it mentions Maraqi al-Falah, but no, Maraqi al-Falah comes later on. He made an explanation for Nurul Ida called the Al-Imdad. And Al-Imdad was also very famous, but it was very long. So he wrote Maraqi al-Falah, Sharh Nurul Ida, which is still now used by many of the Muftiyan as well. Then he was also known for writing a few other risalat as well, and especially he was known for writing the Marjanila Ash Shurumbulali. Ash Shurumbulali is the one mentioned, I believe, over here. Right. Yes. Hashia al-Adrar Hakam. Right. This is, and this one he mentioned. He wrote Ash Shurumbulali, and this is a very lengthy treatise from him, and a very special reference work that we normally go for. Another one that he has written, which has become more famous recently as well, has become like something to grasp on, is the one that we are touching, Maraqi Sa'daat as well. Then we look at the character of Allamah Shurumbulali as well, and we realize that it can only be we can only see the perfectness of his character in the sense that he is known as Abul Ikhlas. Ikhlas means sincerity, and sincerity, when it builds into a person, then that brings a person towards performing of the finer qualities of a person's Islam in the best way possible. And when a person brings this sincerity to such a level that it becomes part and parcel of a person's nature, then you can say that he has superseded the expectation, general expectation of sincerity of a person, and he's given a title Abul Ikhlas. So Imam Shurunbulali, he is known for this title for Abul Ikhlas. So we can understand from that. Ikhlas is such a thing that without the Ikhlas, anything in deen, it will simply just crumble. And ikhlas is something that we will inshallah conclude this small introduction on as well. If you wish to take benefit from any lesson, not only this lesson, rather any lesson, anytime, from any teacher, what is required is that when you sit and you listen and you go through the session, you have to have the intention, you have to have the ikhlas, the sincerity of learning, of acquiring ulum only for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and for no one else. It is a very, very significant aspect that we realize that our purpose of fulfilling all this obligation of talabul ilm, the seeking of the knowledge, is only for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's sake. Because you remove that sake, then it can even lead to the levels of shirks, where your intention is to acquire knowledge for yourself, and there is great wa'id, great admonishment mentioned in ahadith, and which mention with regards to person acquiring knowledge so that they can acquire it for dunyas, and then all they will get is the dunya, and they will not get anything of the akhirah. In fact, the hadith mentioned they will not even get the scent of akhirah or scent of the Jannah or anything like that. So may Allah protect us from any kind of insincerity in our action, insincerity of our understanding towards why we are taking these lessons, why we want to learn, why we want to even listen to any Islamic information. The purpose of entirety of this work is only to gain the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to fulfill the obligations that we have towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is, we do whatever He asks us to do, and we abstain from whatever He prohibits us. Inshallah, this will conclude our introduction for now, and we will continue with the matan, directly delving into the subject matter from chapter 1. This way, when I start that chapter, I do not have to give you an introduction to the book or to the field or anything like that. May Allah give us tawfiq. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi, subhanallah wa bihamdihi, wa nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.